Alright. Let's do this thing. I'm gonna jump in and finish her up. Just to show y'all. Challenges. 98%, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 83%, 283 out of 500. We're getting this within the next 3 hours. And then, we have 100% zombies. Let's do this thing. Let's do it. I do want to do this because I can't see chat in case anybody talks. And also you can't see the game in case anybody watches. There we go. Ah, whatever.
Your former employer, Edward Richthofen, pays the syndicate a small fortune to find it.
How the hell does this guy know about that?
Yeah, my bad. Guess who's back? Back again. We're finishing it, Lyrics. This is the last stream of the road to 100%. Then I might take tomorrow easy a little bit. And then, yeah. I'm still thinking of doing the Nebula challenge, Nebula camo grind live. I'm honestly pretty close. I have every gun gold. And with the save file, it wouldn't be that hard. Just gotta kill a lot of the doppelgas. I should have waited. That's fine. Get settled in, baby. We got a long way to go. Long way to go. And a short time to get there. We're gonna do what they say can't be done. I'm hanging on by a thread, man. Oh! Go, 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 go. Come on. Do work. That's fine. That works too. I mean, we got, I think, at least 5 kills out of that, so that counts. I'm good with it. Yep, there we go. Yeah, I saw what you said in the group chat. So, grind is not looking too good, huh? I mean, look, as long as the map flow doesn't change, I really don't care too much about the aesthetics of it. And I only say that because I expect everything in Black Ops 6 to be of lesser quality if it's not zombies. I really, truly do. It just... I mean, you look at the conspiracy theories, right? On one hand, you could argue, well, people who believe in those conspiracy theories are idiots. At the same time, they shouldn't exist to begin with. But the only reason why they do exist is because Treyarch doesn't know, Activision doesn't know how to keep people happy. It's ridiculous, so... Whatever, you know? Really is whatever. I'm not a blind COD fanboy. I'm a COD realist. I love zombies. I think Black Ops 6 Zombies is the best we've had since Black Ops 3. And I stand by that. And I do think that the Zombies team, Zombies crew, has a lot of love and passion and talent for what they do. The same cannot be said for the multiplayer team. And because of that, you know, it really is an us versus them thing, and sadly, and I wish it wasn't, but I think it is. It is what it is, so. How does it look worse than the 360? No, I know. I agree. I agree. It's just, you have to expect it. You really do. It's stupid. But welcome to modern day Call of Duty, where quite literally it's worse than it was 10 years ago. It's ridiculous. Now, to play devil's advocate, right, which I don't really enjoy doing, but I'm going to. Everybody thought Liberty Falls was going to be a terrible map, right? That was going to look terrible, play terrible, be terrible. At the same time, apples to oranges, you're talking about an original Zombies map where we have no comparison to a map where it's nothing but comparison. The reason why they're doing it is for the comparison. So, you can't really compare Liberty Falls to Grind. At the same time, the point remains, the trailers did not do it justice. The marketing team did not do it justice. Liberty Balls, you know. Yeah, Liberty Balls, exactly. So, you know, maybe there's a chance that it's just a really, really bad screenshot. You know, there's a million and one things that could have happened. And maybe it'll actually look half decent. In reality, I think that's being, I think it's copium. And I'm hoping that that comparison is okay, but I'm just trying to help out the believers here, you know? So, I don't know. It'll be interesting for sure. I love PhD Swapper. I think augments are one of the biggest innovations in Zombies since, honestly, multiple pack punching in BO3. I think that is, but, well, yeah, there was multiple pack punching, right? Not like levels, but you would go up to and use it for the AATs, the alternative ammo types. I remember doing that in Shadows, if I recall correctly. So, I think the augments in BO6 are just game changing, quite literally. Come on. I'm gonna guess we're gonna be here for 2 hours before we're done. I did a little bit on the side. I think we're at 287 before I started this round, this match. Save file, whatever you want to call it. And that was after a 45 minutes of playing. And we were at 219. So from 219 to 287, let's just call it 75, whatever, 75 completions of the challenge in 45 minutes. Really, you're looking, if you do the math, it's kind of like 15 for 50, like 1 a minute, or, yeah, almost 1 a minute, roughly. No, but, no, that's actually stupid. But my point is, you're probably looking at 100 an hour. So, with 100 an hour, and now it's being at 285, my guess is, if I go at the rate I expect, we're looking at about 2 hours. But, I've done stupider things for much longer. Let me look at the last two Halo 2 lassos. By the way, if I remember correctly, you went to bed the last time Super and I did Lasso. I don't know if you saw. We actually got past that first room. And if you didn't go to bed, I apologize for being wrong. But even so, I still want to talk about it because it was pretty cool. We got past the first room of extreme wave fighting. I don't remember what we did. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it for our next attempt. But we got past that first room. Almost got... No, we did. We did get to the second room. But that second room, we decided, yeah, we're missing out on a lot of things that we could cheese the game with. So, you know. We're gonna regroup, and go at it. Come on, Brainy. Hello there. Once I've completely finished Zombies, right? What I mean by that is get every camo on every gun. Obviously get all the challenges, which will be done today. And I do want to get Dark Ops Mastery. And I kind of want to try every Dark Ops challenge. That's going to be weird to do, I think. Like, this is all just normal gameplay stuff. But, like, not getting hit until round 20... That's going to take some real cheesing. Some real, I don't want to say talent, but work. Getting a million kills is just doing this, honestly, for hours on end. It's going to take a very long time, but, I mean, this is a green Unpacked Punch AS Val, and you can still, you know, every mag get 2 or 3 kills, but when you have a gun like this, right, double packed, you can rip through them. So, as long as I use the most heavy-hitting gun there is, probably one of the LMGs, there will be really no issue getting a million kills, just putting in the time. But yeah, anyways, I digress. I want to get every Dark Ops challenge. So when we're done that, and we're done with all the camos, I think I'm going to subject myself to torture and try to do the same in multiplayer. I really do. And if I do it in multiplayer, you know where we're going next? That's right, the square hole. Warzone. I would not mind trying to do challenges in Warzone. I've found a kind of a love-hate relationship with Warzone in the last month. So I'd be willing to give it a shot. It's a totally different community from zombies, but, you know, whatever. Am I a competitive person? No. Am I going to care about getting wins? No. Am I going to care about getting wins when I'm trying to do a challenge? Unfortunately, yes. And that's why I'm very hesitant to even think about it. But, look, for now, we're not even done the Nebula grind, let alone... Heck, we're not even done the 100%er challenge, so one thing at a time. Got it one piece at a time. There's an app called Radio Garden, and Radio Garden is so awesome. You can listen to radio stations around the world, right? It is so cool. It is so cool to listen to. And I listen to a lot of Irish stations. For whatever reason, in Ireland, it seems like they're huge on American country music. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand the cultural impact and how that came to be. I want to do some research into it because it's just so fascinating to me. It really honestly is. I see that insta-kill and I want it, but I don't want it before I get a brain rot. Oh no. Don't go away. One at a time. Kill him one at a time. Come on, brain rot. Thank you. Ugh. Where'd my brain rot guy go? What are you doing over there? I distracted him for you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Feed him. Now that's progress. Yeah, Warzone. I know. Trust me, I know. Or not battle pass. That's all the conversations I've had. I've been talking for 15 minutes straight. Tell you what though, for me it made the 15 minutes go by fast, probably like 20 minutes to everybody else, but that's okay. I hate myself too. That was a good one. Didn't mean it, but that was a good one. There we go. Nice. Oh, nice. Go, my children. So, my tier list. I was thinking. My tier list got a lot of reactions, right? A lot of, confused reactions, to politically put it politically. Concerned reactions would be another good one. And I was thinking about it. I'm thinking of doing a tier list for every perk. I really am. Alright. Well, hey, thinking got me a lot of views on that tier list video, so I mean, you know, realistically, should I have thought about that? No. But for watch hours to get advertisements on my videos for monetary, yeah. You know, it worked out. But, because that thinking worked out, I had a couple thoughts. 1, do a tier list on every perk. 2, perk jingles, which I think would be great. And 3, this is a big one, a series like I used to try back in like 2018 where I go back and play every map. Now, the map one is interesting because I've tried it before. I didn't stick to it. And I want to try it again. I want to go back and do it, but 2 issues are stopping me. 1, money. I mean, you're talking about buying World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 4. Because I don't have Black Ops 4 on this computer. I do have Black Ops 3. Right? So that's 4 games I would have to buy, plus DLC. And that's a lot of money. That's a couple hundred easy. Because Activision are greedy. Even if it goes on sale, it's still a lot of money. But I think it would be good to go back, replay all the Zombies maps, and then do a new tier list. Right? And then I'm thinking, well, if I'm going to do that, I might as well include Superbench. But then he would have to buy all of them on PC. So, I need to think about it a bit more. But for now, I think doing a perks tier list wouldn't be a bad idea. Every Treyarch perk. I don't care about Vanguard and Sledgehammer Zombies. Nor do I care about Infinite Warfare Zombies. Nor do I care about Exo Zombies. I liked Exo Zombies. I really did. I think of all the zombie attempts that were done, I like Exo Zombies the most. But that doesn't mean I like it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a side mode with zombies. That's it. If I want that, I can go play Left 4 Dead. But if I want a real Call of Duty zombie experience, I'll play a Treyarch Zombies, like Cold War, Black Ops 6, all the way back to World at War, not including Treyarch Zombies in Modern Warfare because they were stupid and didn't do Extinction Mode, which I want to go back and do that as well. However, and here's the biggest issue with all this, I don't want to get my system hacked. Because I know all you have to do is boot up an old game like World at War, and now hackers have access to your system. So I've got a lot of worries on my mind about doing something like that. It's all stuff I need to figure out. I do have a VPN that I use pretty frequently, but even then, I don't know if that would be as effective as I would want it to be. So, I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. I'll figure it out. Yeah, well that's what I'm thinking, Lyrics, exactly. I mean, I could download a virtual machine and then import my Steam onto that, download things into the VMware, and then also equip my VPN, so that way it all stays contained and nothing goes to my kernel root system. But I don't have faith that they also didn't find a way around that. You know, that's great for holding back viruses and malware, but not for a human who knows how to get around things. So, I really question it. You know, I'm really surprised it didn't come with one. And I mean that with love. Oh! And Lyrics, after I'm done this, I'm either going to take a break from Call of Duty for a bit, or do the Nebula camo grind and then take a break. But there's a break coming up and I want to hit Space Marine 2. I really, really do. I want to get all the cosmetics. I want to get good at the game. I got half these considering I beat the campaign on hardest difficulty. I'm still pretty proud of that. But I do want to go back and actually spend some time with that game, especially now that I'm learning about the universe a bit more. Is Space Marine... God. Let me rephrase that in a way that makes sense. Is Warhammer mostly about humans, or... And I mean that as in... There are so many factions and types of creatures and species, but... Like, yeah, I get it, you know, when you play as a Space Marine and stuff, but like, is Warhammer about humans? Like, is it humans are the main character, humanity's the main character, and the other species are side characters? Because I feel like they put a lot of effort into deepening the lore and life of all these species, but from everything I've seen thus far, maybe it's just a video game recommended to me, or my own research being narrow, I feel like there's not nearly as much about, like, the Tau or the Martians, whatever they're called, Adeptus Mechanicus, whatever, as the humans. And I understand it, like, we're human, and it's something made from us, so of course it's gonna be about humans, but I don't know, is what I'm saying making sense, or am I just stupid? Well, that's a different question. I need to read your things. I'm sorry. Space Marine 2 is getting a horror mode eventually. That's awesome. Well, I'll let you know when the next update is. Thank you, because it's sometime soon. Awesome. It's about the whole universe. Just humanity is the most spread out and biggest species around, and also kind of caused all the issues. Okay. Really? Humanity caused most of the issues? I thought that was because of the chaos. I mean, the chaos. I was going to say the chaos cause to stop myself. I thought that was because of chaos, where a majority of the issues in Warhammer come from. Or is that just, quote-unquote, our perspective as humans? The warp. Because from everything I've heard, it sounds like if it wasn't for the warp, there wouldn't be much of an issue in Warhammer. The warp corrupted Horus. The warp creates these bad guys, quote-unquote. You know, the warp is where the chaos gods are housed. Like, if it wasn't for the warp existing, there wouldn't be much of an issue in the universe, right? You just turn another one. Yeah, Chaos was about, but it didn't have a big fighting force of, oh, I don't know, half the legions who try. Okay, that's fair. Oh, that's fair. But see, they turned traitor because of Chaos, right? Humans were also the most willing to turn to Chaos and easy to possess, manipulate. Okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Like, could a Tyranid turn to Chaos? It's just a bug. Hive mind, right? Like, could Chaos take over a... Was it like a brooding mother or something? Or is that a Helldiver term I'm mixing up? Nope. See if I was on call, I could explain that better. I'm sorry. Do you want to do a call while I stream? do you want to join the live stream live? I mean, I'm not exactly doing anything that's hard to think about. Up to you. Hey! Alright, hold on. I have Discord up. Call me whenever you're ready. Oh, probably a good idea. Hello!
Hello.
Alright, I've got questions. Let me actually turn down the game.
I know you do. Right, hit me.
Okay. First of all, why are humans so easy to manipulate?
Because they have weak minds. Every human mind is tethered to the warp, so they're very easy to, like, possess and manipulate. Humans don't know chaos, really. They don't know chaos exists. They just think it's, like, gods trying to, like, help them out. They'll, like, trick humans, think, oh, this is the Emperor helping you, so do these things. And then you end up falling to chaos. Like, if you were an average human living on a hive city, you don't know chaos exists. You don't know like
Really?
Xenos exist. Yeah. Spread. There's a thing called the Imperial Truth, where like you don't really tell your citizens about things, because if they learn the real truth, everything would go to shit. And I mean, literally,
Huh.
if everyone knew chaos existed and chaos demons existed and they're basically infinite and there's no way to beat chaos, humanity would just crumble upon itself and go into like a civil war again.
Okay, so they hide things from the average person. I mean, that's understandable and expected, honestly, but I didn't realize that includes chaos. But, like,
Yes.
what about the Crusades? I mean, I assume across the stars, humanity knows about the Crusades, right?
What if I told you your average guardsman would never see a space marine his entire life? It's very rare you see a space marine.
Well, that makes
Space marines are
sense.
told off in legends. Like, guardsmen would see space marines as, like, basically angels of the Emperor.
Right, but they know they exist.
They know space marines are a thing, but they don't actually really believe they exist.
Really?
Until they actually physically see them, they're like, oh god, that's a space marine. Only like once you get higher in the guardsman ranks, you're told like, okay, space marines are real, and you know, and there's time like if a guardsman saw a chaos space marine, they wouldn't know that space marine is chaos until he starts ripping his head off.
Oh.
So some chaos space marines don't look chaos. Like Iron Warriors, they just look like the heresy counterparts. And there's a great. I need to like stream Warhammer TV to you because there's a great animation called Iron Within, where guardsmen in this hive city are being invaded by Dark Eldar. So they use an old like emergency Vox to ask for reinforcements from Space Marines. And because it's that old, the only Space Marines that use that Vox are Iron Warriors, who are Chaos. So they respond and they help the Guardsmen. Then they turn around and be like, right, you Guardsmen are our slaves now because we helped you. And if you don't, you're just gonna be, you know, used as cannon fodder.
Okay.
And the Guardsmen don't realize Iron Warriors are Chaos until they start seeing, like, oh, the Iron Warriors look and act funny. Oh, they're starting to do things that aren't really, you know, Imperial. Oh god, they're killing our Guardsmen. And saying, like, you know, death to the false Emperor, like the Emperor is not a real god.
Alright, so what I'm hearing is it's the same idea as, like, in Star Wars, they post Order 66, they always talk about Jedi and Sith as, like, legends and tales of the Force.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yes, basically, like,
Alright.
they're told of in legends now, like, they know Space Marines exist, but sometimes it's like they don't really know if something like that is actually real until they physically see it. It's like if I told you, if we go back to like before like the internet was a thing, and I told you, you know, oh this there's this thing called Lego that's like these building blocks, and you're like, that sounds dumb, but like you can kind of see it's real until you physically see it, and you're like, oh, this actually is real, and this is awesome.
Okay.
It's a weird analogy, but it's like that.
No, I get it. All right.
You know they're probably real, but you don't see them. And then you get like in Necromunda when they see a space marine, Necromunda being like the worst hive city with all the gang violence. If they see a space marine, they like freak out and see it as like a murderous robot, and they will run in terror from a normal space marine.
Okay.
Like a normal space marine could walk into Necromunda and kill the entire hive city because none of their weapons can physically damage him.
That's crazy.
He could just walk in barehanded and just punch people, and they would just gib.
So so if Space Marines are that much kind of the stuff of legends, for lack of a better term, then I can only imagine when it comes to Emps and Primarchs and the actual structure of the military of humanity. If you're just a regular civilian on a world, that's all almost just stories.
Yes.
Wow.
Like, not a lot of people know the true history of the Horus Heresy, or even know it existed, because obviously that was 10,000 years ago.
Right.
But again, there are certain things you just don't tell your citizens. Like, the American government, if the American government told you, like, okay, hell and heaven are a real thing, people that were religious would go crazy, being like, I told you right. People that were doubters would probably, like, question everything, like, oh, that's actually real. And there'd be, like, crazy infighting of, like, no, you're lying, this is religious fanaticism or that. Or people that were devout fanatics would feel even more empowered to do fanatical things, you know? Just an example.
Right. No, I get the example. Alright.
It's like, if you were told God is a real thing and we talk to him, like, every year, like, updates on the off, people would probably be mind-blown, or would think, like, oh, if there's a God, I can do these things. And then people are like, if there's a God, then that means the devil's real, so we can do more satanic stuff and actually get rewards. Because, yeah, so... Again, weird analogies, but it's literally just, if I'm putting it in real life, that's basically like that.
Alright, so you have that with humanity, and given that... But you said that humanity caused a majority of the problems. But...
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
No one falls to chaos or the warp, bar humans.
That blows my mind, because... There's so many species in 40k. I'm sure there's more I don't even know about.
Okay. Right, so we'll start from the very first point in the Warhammer timeline, which is the War in Heaven. It's a big thing and it's awesome. This is when the Necrons, who are still flesh and body, called the Necron Tier, were on a planet that had no ozone layer beside the sun, so they were all getting, you know, sun cancer or solar radiation. And they find these gods called the Old Ones, who knew the secret to life and everything.
Yeah.
So they asked them, like, oh, can you, like, help our lives, like, solve our radiation problem? And the Old Ones basically told them to just die and moved on, like, just spat at them. So the Necron Tier, being very smart and basically, you know, kind of like medieval, you know, knights and all that, they decided to wage war on the Old Ones, who just basically clicked their fingers and killed people because they were literal gods. So obviously that didn't work.
Right.
Then they found Satan, which are star gods, who are gods that fly around space and eat stars.
Oh. Okay.
And they were met by the Deceiver. I don't know his actual name, but his title is the Deceiver. Even the other Satan don't like him because basically think he's Loki. Alright, or the Joker.
Right, okay.
He said, like, oh, we can give you immortality, what you crave. And basically, what happened was, they all got chained up as slaves, turned into the Necrons, like, metal robots, and the Satan got fattened by eating an entire species worth of souls.
Oh,
So that's how Necrons came to be. They got their souls ripped out of them,
Interesting.
eaten, and they were turned to like basically robotic army slaves for star gods. And the star gods wanted to wage war on the old ones as well, so that's how the war in heaven started, because it's just gods fighting gods. And the Necrons were given god-killing weapons by the Satan. So, you know, Doomsday arcs, the little reactor core is actually just a black hole.
oh, is that all
That's
it is?
contained. It's a contained black hole that when it shoots, just basically shoots like a little black hole at people in like a big line, and it'll like disperse after a while. Or, you know, Lords had Tachyon Hours, which is just like a true silver spear that could shoot into the heart of a mountain. You know, casual stuff, and you know, the Gauss Ray, which just atomizes people, lightning, blades that vibrate through atoms so they can just sever any armor because they vibrate through the atoms and make a little space.
Right. Okay.
You know, casual stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, the old ones were losing, so they were like, let's create some races so we can fight back against the Necrons. So they created the Quarks, which is the Orcs, and the Eldar. They created them.
Oh.
But the problem is, they created them too late, so they got killed. I think lore-wise there's like 1 or 2 survivors that hid away. They're like hinted in the heresy, or like still like being around somewhat. But we don't actually know, because the War in Heaven was, you know, billions and billions of years before humanity was even, you know, evolving. So this is like super ancient history. And this is like the very first part of Warhammer. Starts off with no humans, it's aliens. All the aliens. Technically the first race in Warhammer is Necrons. Then it's the Eldar and the Orcs.
Huh.
So yeah, Old Ones made Quarks and Eldar. Old Ones died. There might have been survivors, don't know. The Satan were eating them, because, you know, big god, big soul. Then they started infighting because they were getting that powerful. And then the Silent King, because it's Zarkin the Silent King, who talks from his Triarch, which is like his little bodyguard. Like, they speak for him, he doesn't say anything, because Silent King
Right.
is like their honor-bound thing. He was like, okay, we're plotting, they're distracted, we have god-killing weapons, we can turn against them and kill our, you know, captors. So they did, they turned on the old ones. Or the Satan, not the old ones, the star gods. The only thing is, gods can't be killed, but they can be sharded into little pieces, put into vaults and used as Pokemon. So they did that. They got destroyed into little shards that then they like entombed, and they basically used them as like weapons. The only god that got completely annihilated was I don't know again his full title, but it's he was called the Flayer, and he put the Flayed One curse on the Necron. So imagine you're a soulless robot for a second, right? Now imagine you had this undying urge to eat flesh and drape yourself in flesh to become human, but you can never satiate that hunger, and any meat you eat just falls out of your rib cage.
Okay.
That's what the Flayed One curse is. You have an internal hunger and madness that you can't satiate, and you want to skin people so you feel the warmth of skin on you again, but obviously you're a soulless robot, so you physically can't. Then you like warp, your legs turn to like canine legs where they bend the other way.
So,
Yeah.
alright,
You
so
know
that's all the beginning of Warhammer and everything, and I didn't realize humans were not considered.
No,
for yeah,
So, canonically, see this time of year right now?
yeah.
Canonically in the Warhammer world, we're just here on Earth. Right now the Eldar are still ruling the galaxy, the Necrons are asleep, Quarks have devolved to Orcs, because obviously they got dumber and dumber. So Eldar there's no Eye of Terror right now, and Chaos is still kind of not existing.
Okay.
The Eldar haven't had their big fuck up yet. Literally.
Okay.
The Eldar is kind of like a time of peace right now. So, like, we're talking like in like 20,000 more years is when everything starts to, you know, pick up.
Okay, so that brings something else. So I was watching a video the other day of the original models of Warhammer, and they mentioned that there used to be dwarves, basically.
Yeah, squats.
Are they still a thing in the canonical Warhammer?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, now, this is where it gets awkward. Votann are a clan. So, Votann are basically like the dwarfs. They're technically a Xenos race. They're not humans, they're aliens. So it's very weird. Because, like, you think dwarfs are humans, but technically in 40k, they are alien. They're Xenos. But they still use human weapons. Like, they have advanced bolters. They use, like, normal tanks and stuff.
Huh.
So, Votann are like this clan of basically space dwarfs. So, technically, they're human adjacent, but not adjacent enough to, like, you know, a Ratling or a Bulgrin, where it's like abhumans. They're full on aliens. Which is it's very weird to think of, like, a dwarf as an alien, but technically, yes, they are aliens. So, Votann dwarfs, they have, like, their different clans. And the main big one was the squats, where they didn't really use super high-tech stuff or AI. They kind of like, you know, normal bolters, like big land trains, with just big tanks that had tanks strapped to them, like an actual land train, but like obviously with guns and stuff. Now, the planet the Scots were on got invaded by a Tyranid hive fleet, and like they all got eaten. That's why the Votann hid in their like middle of the universe black hole. Because no one can really reach them in the deep dark. And the Scots all died. But there's squats in Necromunda, because they're the survivors that fled. So there is squats, but there's like very few of them. There now works, you know, a gang, mercenaries, miners, bounty hunters, stuff like that.
Yep.
But like the main Votann kind of hid. And then they were like, okay, we can kind of expose ourselves, because like they were like traders. And like merchants, but the problem is Imperium don't like them because they use AI, and AI is abhorrent and evil. Because
Really?
AI caused a lot of problems for humans. Yes, humanity went through a Skynet episode, but I think instead of, you know, Earth, it was the entire galaxy, and these AI had weapons that could just bomb a planet and kill it. They had like exterminatus type weaponry.
Well, no, that's confusing
like-
because, not to interrupt, but when I'm, like, for example, playing Space Marine 2, there's nothing but these, what I assume are AI service skull floating skulls.
Oh no, they're not AI. They still have their brains.
What?
They're just, yeah, they're servo skulls. They have their brains, or they've got circuitry where a Datasmith would put a chip into them with programs, and they run that. It's not artificial intelligence. They are just programmed to do certain tasks. Like if I theoretically killed you and took your skull and like, you know, made it like de-skinned it, I could like put a bionic eye on it so you can see, put all this like circuitry and wiring, then like, you know, the cables coming out of the where your spine used to be, and you know, like a program reader that's like, if I put in a chip that says your daily actions are to patrol this area, scan whoever you see, if anyone doesn't show up, you go and you set off an alarm. That would be your purpose for the rest of your life until you're decommissioned.
So it's half sentient being, half pre-programmed biological.
Oh, you have no sentience. You're just, it's a programmed
Not a
machine.
sentient.
No, just
Okay.
the brain might still be in there and just rot away, because like, there's no point caving open the skull. Just put all the programming and that.
Okay.
Now, servers are where you're just lobotomized, your you've got the same chip thing, but you're still a human body. But it's what I showed you in Space Marine 2. You know the guys with, like, the big claw arms.
Yes.
Those are servitors that are like either murderers, rapists. Could just be an unfortunate person who, you know, was like, oh, I want to sign up to help the Imperium, but they didn't realize like servitors help the Imperium, so you could just get lobotomized as a innocent person because they need workers. Or you could be a space marine that failed scout training, so they don't know what to do with you, so they just make you a servitor.
Huh.
Yeah, there's a bit in the book where a scout failed like a sniping operation or like training, and they're like, well, you kind of failed the only other thing that we thought you'd be good at, so we can't really have you go back to human society. You've kind of got these organs, so you wouldn't fit in. So the only thing we can do is lobotomize you and make you a combat servitor. And you know, the chapter master at the time was like, that's messed up, you can't do this, where's your honor? And they was like, think of this realistically, he has no place anymore, he might as well see use, we can't make him go to waste, we can't just kill him, that's just a waste of, you know, a fine body that could be a servitor. I haven't told you the best part about servitors, by the way.
What?
There are servitors on pleasure planets.
Oh god.
But that's not the best thing. Some servitors will keep their free will, but they can't control their bodies. They feel and see everything that's happening, but they physically can't do anything. You're just a spectator in your own body. You're trapped in your own body, seeing everything, and doing everything, and experiencing everything, but you can't talk, you can't control yourself, you can't even scream. You just experience everything, and you physically, like, mentally think of that. So you have sentience and you can feel everything, but you can't control your body.
But you said there are chapter masters who go against this. Who like, do they have the option to not partake in it?
Yeah, go against like their space marines that fail scout turning to servers.
Right.
They're fine. They're fine taking prisoners of war and turning them into servers to serve them.
Well, I imagine. I mean, they also. What's up with the battery thing, by the way? I think there's already been one or there's like been one or two in the book that I'm reading or listening to, I should say, where it's like it's a person whose body is in the wall, and it's like they serve as some sort of.
Yeah. Why make a battery when you can just put a living being in there and their life force kind of completes the circuit?
Okay.
It's like you know how a potato can take electric charge and charge a phone.
Right.
Think of that, but for a servitor, you just kind of complete the circuit.
Okay.
You kind of power stuff.
Okay. I see. But and this all goes back to, this is all lore about humanity, but Warhammer isn't just about humanity.
No, humanity's just kind of the biggest player, and everyone can relate to. Everyone can relate to a guardsman, because guardsmen currently have like modern day flak armor and a last gun, and you're just told, right, there's all these hordes that can just kill you, like basically by looking at you, but you go fight because you've got nothing else you can do. Protect humanity. So everyone can relate to basic guy, and humanity like spread out and colonized the universe at some point until everything started going bad.
Okay.
Humanity went through a lot of turmoil. It went through the Golden Age where, you know, Emperor revealed himself and he led the Space Crusade to, you know, crusade the galaxy.
Right.
And this is before he thought of making the Primarchs. It was just Big Emperor and humanity. He revealed himself after the whole Golden Age was after the Dark Age of technology. This was the AI thing.
Oh,
where
okay.
everything went bad because of the Eldar.
Really? So the Eldar caused the issue with AI.
Yeah, so we need to go back to the War in Heaven, and we need to talk about the Warp.
Okay.
Now, you've heard of the other names of the Warp, the Immaterium, the Immaterium. Basically, the Warp was heaven and hell. every soul is connected to the warp. When you die, your soul goes to the warp. The warp used to be a calm place, like, you know, paradise. Then you had a little corner called the Realm of Chaos, where, you know, Khorne, Nurgle, and Tzeentch exist. Slaanesh doesn't exist right now, but she always technically existed, so... There's only 3 Chaos Gods at the moment, but there's always been 4. She hasn't been birthed yet.
Really?
Yes, Slaanesh became a thing because of the Eldar. The Eldar gave birth to Slaanesh, and I'll get to that point in a minute.
Okay.
But the warp used to be just a calm place, like, you know, think of a swimming pool. You've got, like, the Chaos Realm, which is, like, you know, all the kids smashing at the pool. Like, some souls just wanted to be peaceful, some, you know, chose a side, Khorne, Tzeentch, or Nurgle. But, like, the Chaos Gods weren't really powerful. It's, like, massive place of just heaven and paradise. Then you had the little corner pocket of hell, literally. Now, the war in heaven, what happens when you blow up the warp with, like, billions and billions of souls that like to choose a side between Nurgle, Tzeentch, and Khorne?
I don't know.
The warp gets bloated and the Realm of Chaos takes over the warp. There's no longer a paradise. The warp is just literal hell. It now resembles hell as we know it.
Oh.
Yeah, so because
the-
of the war in
okay,
heaven,
yeah.
and all these souls going to the warp and then being angry, and Chaos being like, hey, look, you can fight for me, and all that, and like, oh, like, Nurgle's like, you know, I can offer you, you know, finality, the circle of life, because remember, the Chaos Gods are good and bad.
Right.
So, I'll explain once I get to Slaanesh how they're both good and bad and kind of necessary to exist.
Okay.
You can't really kill them. But, you know, all those souls, even like the Eldar souls that died, and like the Orc souls when they had like the fighting, they got thrown to the warp and, you know, they chose a side. Eldar are very impervious to the warp, so they went to the, you know, safe bit. But like Orcs and Necrons, or Necrontyr when they had their souls eaten, they just kind of, you know, chose a side of Chaos, and then the Realm of Chaos took over the warp. So now the warp is just, you've got the Realm of Khorne, the Realm of Nurgle, and the Realm of Tzeentch, and they all fight each other because they don't like each other. They want to be, you know, the main god. It's called the Great Game. Every Chaos God wants to be the Chaos God #1. And so, you know, like, when you think of, so the gods feed off power as well, not just souls. So imagine this war in heaven that's like billions and billions of souls over thousands of years on multiple planets. So all this bloodshed and fighting fattens Khorne up because he, you know, he's the god of war. All these, you know, plans, deceiving, like backstabbing and that fattens up Tzeentch, who's the god of, you know, trickery and change. And then, you know, oh, I don't know, Nurgle, who's the god of death. How do you think he got powered up? There's a big war in heaven and billions died. It writes it, so they all got fattened, took over the warp, the souls got thrown into the warp, chose a side. So now Chaos owns the warp. The warp is now bad, you don't want to go to the warp. Psychic powers are now bad because demons can infest your mind and take over you and kill you. Or just make you a warp portal, like stretch your body out and you're just a big warp portal that people funnel through. So, warp is a bad place now.
So,
But it's
initially,
Initially, warp was just like the end is heaven.
but then Chaos took over and it flipped.
Yes, Chaos took over. There's
Yeah,
no more heaven.
okay.
Chaos just took over the warp because they got fattened and more empowered. Because before the war in heaven, nothing really happened, so the gods were kind of starving, but they can't starve to death. They're just very weak. But
Okay.
now they got fattened. They took over the warp. So that's war in heaven. Normal humanity stuff. Do you all know how Slaanesh got birthed now?
How?
Okay, so we talked about the Eldar. Eldar basically colonized the universe, but kind of left the solar system alone. They were just like, we'll leave that be. We're kind of, you know, peaceful people.
Right.
They got to a point where they kind of reached that end goal of civilization. So, you know, They could make unlimited food. They had no quarrels, no problems. They had no food shortages. They had no reason to fight. Everyone's living in a paradise. But Eldar, because they're elves, they have, heightened senses, which had to be, fulfilled, because if Eldar get bored, they really feel bored. Like, if you ever been in a house that's lost power for like a week and you kind of feel, extremely bored and you just want to do anything to stop it?
Right.
Eldar feel that if they get normal bored. Like, their senses and emotions are super heightened.
Okay.
So, you start to kind of edge out your senses, so their art gets a little more crazy and mental, like psychedelic. Your plays get a bit more out there. Like, instead of just acting out a death, you actually murder your co-host. You heighten the senses. You start taking drugs, a lot of drugs, and the sense of pleasure. You know what happens when people get to the extremes and like hedonism of pleasure. So the Eldar start going basically chaotic, where constant orgies, bloodshed, murder and torture became commonplace, where it was just accepted. Same with rape, kidnapping. Someone would put on like an art display, and it would just be like your buddy Steve from college just strung up on a board by hooks, and his entire gut system is out on show, and he's still alive, and his rib cage is like broken open like a pair of wings under his arms, but he's still alive, and everyone's like, oh, this is beautiful, such artistic prowess. Yeah, it got to that point. So this is where the Eldar started to split up. So the craft mode Eldar made big ships, like planet-sized ships called craft worlds, and they were like, we want to keep our humanity, or what Eldar used to be, and they bailed, they left. Everyone else that stayed was now called the Dark Eldar Drakari. They're the ones that kind of relish in this hedonism and excess. Someone just, I don't know who that is that messaged me. And so you've got constant murder, you've got constant sex, you've got constant drug doses, excess pleasure, all in like one concentrated area. Yeah. And there's no god that takes that. I don't think Chaos Gods really got power from that. And it was just filling the warp, all these, Eldar souls that relished in this, going to the warp, not having a place to be. So they all kind of coalesced into one area, and it grew until you've hit, the Eye of Terror, right?
No.
It's a big warp portal in space beside Cadia.
Okay.
Yeah, that never used to be there. That was where all the Eldar were that were kind of doing this hedonism. And like, it all boiled up to the warp until it exploded. Slaanesh was born, who's now the fourth Chaos God, the god of pleasure, excess, hedonism. I wonder why.
Right.
It killed 99% of the Eldar population. Tore an entire warp portal in space, now called the Eye of Terror, which Chaos Demons now can just freely just go into the real space, and you can easily just fly a ship into the warp. So a big tear in reality, like big hole in reality, beside Cadia being the main place of the Cadians Guard Regiment, the main one everyone talks about.
Yeah.
They have purple eyes, because if you're that close to the Eye of Terror, your pupils turn purple, like the iris. The bit of the eye that's coloured, they turn purple because you're constantly seeing warp energy and feeling that over you, so your eyes turn purple.
Huh.
Yeah, so if you ever see a guardsman, they've got like purple eyes. It's Space Marine too. All the guardsmen have purple eyes, because Arcadians.
I did not notice that. Huh.
It's a subtle thing. It's like a dark purple.
Huh.
So Eldar caused the birth of Sinesh. This killed 99% of the Eldar population. So the rulers of the galaxy are now just dead. Apart from the ones in the craft worlds that got away, they went to the outer rims. The ones in the middle hid in the webway, which is like a pocket dimension realm for the Eldar to safely space travel and that. Dark Eldar were able to escape with their lives because they made a bargain with Slaanesh where they had to keep doing more excessive hedonism and, you know, torture, pain, drugs, all this stuff. Basically, Slaanesh has grabbed them by like the hand, and it's like, you keep doing this and feeding me, otherwise I'll eat your soul. So they're kind of forced to do this, but some take pleasure in it. Others are kind of like, I'm forced to do this, or my entire soul is ripped from my body and I'm eaten by a god. So they don't really have a choice; they have to do it. Some obviously take more pleasure in it than others.
Right.
So, yeah, they're in Comra, which is like the basically called the Dark City in the Webway. It's like where the most hedonism happens. You know, drugs, sex,
Yeah.
Colosseum battles, torture, all that fun jazz. So yeah, because of the Webway or the Eye of Terror existing, that caused a warp shift, like rift, all through the universe that everyone felt. So all these psychers that came out of humanity became a lot more commonplace. A lot more humans started becoming psychers because of this. The psychers that already existed started getting massive headaches and either died, was able to ward it off, got possessed, or basically turned into a warp portal that allowed demons to invade where they were. So like, think of like a scarecrow, but your body just gets ripped open into a warp portal and you're still alive.
Okay.
You're kind of just stuck like a big warp portal that you had to kill the psyker and it would collapse on itself
Right.
and like implode or that. There's all the psychers use like, you know, traveling through the warp. Like this is when like you got navigators that could like open a warp portal so you could travel through it. This is when, you know, that the Astronomicon got cut off or like shut down. So all those ships that were in the warp when this happened are now just lost in the warp. And you don't want to be in the warp because, you know, the gods and demons can see you and are like, okay, you're ours now. We get to do what we want with you. You lose your Galar field, demons can easily just possess you because you're in their realm. Tough shit. And you know, just caused chaos. I think before then was the Great Dark Age of Technology where the AI turned against humanity. Think Skynet, but on a universe scale.
Huh.
So they were like, we're better than you. So all these men of iron, which were like, think of AI space marines, but they were stronger and obviously had bigger guns on them, just turned around to humanity to be like, okay, we're your rulers now, we're better. So, you know, that happened. Big ships called black ships, which were AI powered starships, just left. Just left, started bombarding planets. Had guns that could crack a planet in half. You know, just casual stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's when AI became abominable intelligence, so basically outcasted. No use. That, coupled with the warp storm, turned humanity basically dying to dead. So on Mars, you had the tech priests of Mars hide under in like big vaults, like Fallout style.
Right. Okay.
And the priests that would keep up the maintenance of these vaults that wore the red robes started being, you know, worshipped, and they became the tech priests of Mars because they knew how the machines
okay.
work. So then they started praying to like a machine god, like the Omnissiah, as they called it. So, cause, you know, praises technology for keeping us alive. That's when, you know, they started praying to the priest. The priest would hold ceremonies, you know, incense, pray to your machine, it works. And flesh is weakness. It can be corrupted,
Yeah.
but machine can't. There's a whole story about like the Omnissiah is actually a star god that the Emperor imprisoned in the middle of Mars that no one talks about. Shush. I don't know if that's still canon, but still hinted at, and I like to think that their stuff only works because like a Necron god that of technology allows it to. So it's kind of a big hush hush thing. So yeah, that went bad. Other planets either were lost to the warp, like demonic invasion, got invaded by the Dark Eldar, or just infighted. Terra, which is Earth, Terra Earth, haha.
Yeah, yeah.
It became Mad Max, so you had techno barbarians fighting each other. This is when the Emperor was like, I'm going to reveal myself, unite humanity. Emperor was summoned millions of years ago by like a group of 20 shamans who like did a sacrificial pact with a child, and the Emperor was born. We don't really know the full story, but something like that. Big shaman ritual. He got spawned. He's the most powerful human psyker ever. So he can tap into the warp. Demons can't possess him, or like he can just fight them off. He can just do stuff without getting a headache. Oh, also Eldar, when they were made by the old ones, very in tune with psychic stuff. They can do psychic powers and not get hurt by demons at all. So they can use warp stuff. And again, tapping into the warp is like a normal wizard. You're casting a magic spell, but you're getting your magic from hell. You're taking like warp power, basic chaos power. You're turning it to good, telling that demon to go away so you can shoot the funny lightning out of your hand.
Okay.
And if you mess up, the demon takes over you, or you just explode, or a portal opens, you get ripped into the warp and then it closes. Like if you mess up, you can end up summoning demons instead. You yourself get ripped into the warp, or you just explode.
Oh.
Yeah, like
Okay.
this was reflected in the rules at one point, where if you did a mess up in your psychic stuff, it was like a psychic mess up where you could end up accidentally summoning a bloodthirster or some demons, or you just exploded and you killed guys around you as well, or just nothing happened, your psyker took a wound, he can't do that psychic power anymore because he got amnesia, he forgot that spell.
And these are things that were actually like in the tabletop.
Yes,
That's amazing.
like you could mess up your psychic power, you roll dice. If you roll double 6 on your mishap table, it just says the psyker is a warp wall opens, your psyker is ripped into the warp and a shockwave happens, so he explodes and he is removed from the table. or you could tap into that and do demonology, where you are on purpose summoning demons.
Oh.
Which is very funny because in 7th edition, you can play Grey Knights that can take demonology. So Grey Knights, the faction of the Inquisition that's made to kill demons, were summoning demons to help them, and that was a normal tactic on the tabletop. So you had Grey Knights who are anti-demon, summoning demons to kill other chaos. It was so weird.
That's
like,
funny.
Rose has written, yeah, you could do that. It was very funny, but... Yeah, so that happening, Emperor shows up, unites Terra, fights off the Techno Barbarians, and he creates the first Space Marines, which were the Thunder Warriors, to help
I've heard of
take
them.
over. Yeah, take over the Techno Barbarians. And obviously, Thunder Warriors were like kind of an experiment. They had flaws where think of clones. They would degrade, they would age, they would kind of, get schizo.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't really great. So when the Emperor made proper Space Marines, you know what he did with the Thunder Warriors? He put them in the fucking dirt. He killed them.
Really?
Yeah, he just purged all the Thunder Warriors. There are some survivors, but there's one in Tristan's museum who's the Necron that has a museum and collects history stuff. Like, he's got Thunder Warriors, he's got an entire Hive fleet in his museum. He's got Eldar Warriors when they were Khainite Warriors, which are what the old ones summoned. He's got a Krork, a full smart powered orc that if that quark got out of Prison's Museum, the Orcs' intelligence would multiply tenfold, and they would be the strongest race in the galaxy. Just by the sheer existence of that quark getting his, sentience back. It's very funny. Tristan's a great guy. He's just a Necron that runs a museum, so he collects humans and puts them on display. Like, he would go up to a regiment of guardsmen. He's like, I don't have that regiment in my museum. Put them in stasis and put them in this museum as a display piece. They're just frozen in time. There's also an animation where he does that to some Chaos Terminators. But instead of them being frozen in time, they go through a loop, and they're fighting Dark Eldar. They're constantly in a loop, and Tristan always comes at the end and just mocks them, being like, "You could have just walked away. You're your own prisoners." Because you can't escape a Tesseract labyrinth where you're frozen in, but you have to be aware you're in a labyrinth and leave it. And Prison keeps shit talking them, being like, "You're your own prisoners. You can leave by just not entering, yet you always enter." And he just laughs at them. Imagine being your own captors. You can easily escape, and you always turn it down. But anyway, yeah. So Thunder Warriors died. There's one in Tristan's museum. There's some that are existing a while, but then they die off. So normal Space Marines. Emperor created the Primarchs. With the help of Chaos, he took Chaos powers and imbued them.
Oh,
so that's
Primarchs
why
have Chaos in them?
Yeah, he took Chaos. He used the warp to help make the Primarchs. So the Primarchs have in tune with the warp. He didn't bargain. I think I don't know if that's still canon, but it's he either bargained with the Chaos Gods or he siphoned warp power from the gods to help make the Primarchs. The Primarchs saw, not the Primarchs, the Chaos Gods saw the Primarchs and the Emperor, and they were like, "We can't allow this to happen." So they all took the Primarchs' gestation pods, when they were children or teenagers. I don't know how fully grown they were at this point. They took them from the Emperor and scattered them across the galaxy to different planets.
Is that why they went missing?
Yes.
Oh.
Because the Chaos Gods were like, no, scatter across the galaxy. So that's why you get Lehman Russ. His homeworld is Fenris, because that's where his pod crash landed. Now it's his homeworld at the time when he woke up. See?
Okay.
Lion crash landed on Caliban, which blew up, but then came back, and then blew up again.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. My favorite Primarch, Ferrous Manus, landed on Medusa, which was a sand-blown planet. Think of just big desert planet. Very harsh conditions. Only the strongest survived in that. But all these planets had humans, so the Lion landed on Caliban. Caliban was the planet of knights that would fight chaos monsters. So they were think modern day, but they had knight armor, and they had big, broad, great swords. But they were power armored knights, and they would go out into the forests of Caliban to hunt these monsters. These monsters were chaos monsters, and that's why he got the title Knight of the Green Forest, and he was the knight. No, that's why they've got the Gothic iconography, because whenever Gilliman Emperor found the Primarchs, the Primarchs would take the people they were with, make them a Space Marine Legion. These are the Dark Angels. They're all Gothic, all about secrets. Knightly orders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's very fun stuff, but I'm getting sidetracked. Chaos Gods scattered Primarchs. This is when the Emperor launched the Great Crusade to go find his sons. Except one of his sons was still on Terra, and that was one of the twin Primarchs of the Alpha Legion. It was Alpharius or Omegon, but Alpharius and Omegon, their whole deal is they look exactly like their Space Marines, so you don't know if you actually killed the Primarch, because their whole war cry is "I am Alpharius." So You kill one, another one will say he's Alpharius, so you don't actually know. And their chapter icon is the three-headed Hydra.
That's funny.
Yeah. Which also led to a theory, like there's technically 3 Primarchs, because there's a three-headed Hydra, but it's confirmed there's just Alpharius and Omegon. Alpha, Omega, get it? Not zombies related.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. One
Huh.
of them did die and the other one ran away, but like the Alpha Legion are weird, where like you don't know if they're Chaos or Loyalist, because half of them swore to Chaos, the other half were like, no. They don't do like Chaos stuff, they don't, do demonic stuff. They're very much, espionage. They'll do surgery to look like other Space Marines. They'll embed sleeper agents into other legions and stuff like that. They're like the James Bond Space Marines. They like hide and do stuff.
Huh. And then what's up with the 2 that... From all the videos I've watched, the Emperor had 20 Primarchs, but there's actually
Yes.
18. So, I'm...
The two missing Primarchs, we don't know, because again, the Imperial Truth, their records were erased from history, but like their records exist, just no one's allowed to be told what they are.
Okay.
So there's a lot of theories where like one fell to Chaos before the Horus stuff, so it's been confirmed that Emperor did send Lehman Russ of the Space Force. He was called the Great Executioner. He did order Russ to go exterminate one of the Primarchs and Legions, and Russ refuses to talk about it. So there's a big thing where it's like, one of those missing Primarchs was Russ's best friend, and he refuses to talk about it because he had to kill his best friend who, fell to Chaos. And then the other one we don't know. So this is like speculation, like, maybe they didn't want to listen to the Emperor, so the Emperor was like, the Primarchs are just tools, so just kill
Right.
them. Don't need 20, we can do with 18. Technically 19 if you count Omega, but
Right.
let's not get into semantics now.
Right,
Basically, they were both killed off. One confirmed killed by Russ and the Space Wolves, who... Russ was basically the one the Emperor would go to and be like, right, see this Primarch? Go kill him.
Huh.
Because doing bad things, or like, he's the one that told him to get stuff done, he would execute people. Because, on Fenris, big Viking, ha ha ha. Had an axe and a sword, and he had 2 big wolves that worked with him called Grekki and Freki.
Oh,
Who
yeah, even
ended
they
up
have
dying.
names.
Ended up dying in the heresy by, I don't know if it was Horus or someone else, but they both got killed.
Oh.
Russ wasn't happy about that, but
Yeah.
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 So, Great Crusade, he made like 20 Space Marine legions. Went out, found all the Primarchs eventually. Gave them all like a Space Marine legion to like make their own. So, like Ferrus Manus of Medusa, the Space Marines are called the Iron Hands, and they, learn from him about, the flesh is weak, steel is the best thing, and all that. Iron Hands are a tragic story, because Ferrus at the end was like, these hands make wondrous things, but they are not my hands, and he wanted to tell them, like, actually, preserve your flesh or that. But he got killed before that, so the Iron Hands took that as being like, he was weak, so we need to do more cybernetics to ourselves, which is against what Ferrus actually wanted him to do.
That seems to happen a lot in Warhammer.
Oh, Warhammer's like basically a big Greek tragedy in space.
Yeah.
So, yeah, found all the Primarchs. Primarch stuff happened. There was like a golden age, and then the heresy happened.
Right.
Can you guess which Primarch caused the Horus heresy?
Gilliman.
No, that's a spin-off story by some writers. They made like the Gilliman heresy, where like
Oh, really?
split. Yeah, there's
I didn't know
there's a fan project where it's like, what if it's a Horus heresy, but the loyalists turned traitor and the traitors were still loyalists?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, actually, I think it's called the Dornian heresy because it's all about Dorne. But there's different variations. There's one where Gilman's the main bad guy. There's one where it's the Horus Heresy, but Horus redeemed himself, and like it got all messed up. Well, that is very fun fan reads in that, but like yeah. So it was actually Lorgar. So let me get into this.
Lo-
Do you
okay.
not remember Lorgar of the Wordbearers? I think we. I
Oh,
talked
yes,
to you.
yes.
The one who had his Jerusalem burned to the ground. The Emperor said, "Praising me as a god is stupid,"
Yeah.
because worshipping anyone as a god invites chaos.
Yep.
Because they feed from worship and prayer. So Emperor was like, haha, I don't like this, because when you're converting a world to the Imperium, obviously it's humans, they get to have their own world. Then you've got this big guy telling you to worship, like not worship him, but like join his Imperium. All the Primarchs would have a good turnout rate of planets. Lorgar was the one that took the longest because he did it through worship, like pray to the Emperor. He is your now god. Look at these amazing things he did. So he took very long to convert a world, whereas some other Primarchs would have done like 3 or 4 worlds at this point. He would spend years on one world to convert them, then move on to the next one. So that's when Emperor was like, something's going on here, checked up, saw Lorgar's version of Jerusalem, who's like, the Emperor is a god. Emperor was like, cringe, burned it to the ground in front of his eyes, backslapped him, told him, don't worship me, I am not a god, worship is cringe, religion is cringe. Emperor was a big atheist, because there is no gods, the gods are chaos bad.
Right.
Except for Alanis Pius, who was also a he can't die, he's a perpetual. Olanis Pius was the last Catholic. He always had like the Catholic cross, and the Emperor trusted him as a friend, and he allowed him to keep his Catholicism. If that is even how you even say it, but yeah, he was the last Catholic who died to Horus.
Right,
at the
and
very end.
didn't he bring a certain blade to the Emperor while he was fighting Horus that killed him? Or something like that?
No.
No?
Olanius just, when it was on the flagship, Olanius like got on the flagship with the Emperor, and while the Emperor was finding Horus and Sanguinius, Horus was fighting Sanguinius, struck down Sanguinius. Emperor showed up and kind of was grieving. Olanius Pius was just a basic human man, stood in front of Horus and told him, if you need the Emperor, you have to go through me. And obviously Horus just struck him down, but he kept getting back up because he was a perpetual. Until
Right.
eventually, with chaos powers, Horus finally struck him down.
Huh.
But normal human man stood up to demigod Primarch, who was powered by 4 chaos gods at this point, and just kind of held him off to give Emperor more time. And that, so it's really funny. He's got a relic in the rules called the Death Mask for Alanis Pius that lets your character stand up on death in defiance. So that's always fun. Yeah, like he was the last Catholic
That's cool.
that existed. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said a word, and I've heard that word a lot, and I don't really know what it means or its history. You said perpetual.
Yes.
K-Aura.
Emperor Alanis Pius and Vulcan are perpetuals. They cannot die. You kill them, they respawn.
So what is that because they're like they have the warp in them or something? Have they been
It's-
around since the beginning of time?
No, like Vulcan is one of the Primarchs that the Emperor made. The Emperor's perpetual because of the shaman
Okay.
thing. Perpetuals are like a rare thing. We don't actually know what causes it,
Okay.
but it's just something where like you kill them, they end up showing up somewhere else, being revived, or they just stand back up there and then. So they respawn somewhere else if they get like atomized. Like their whole body goes away, they just show up somewhere else with like memories just before they died. The when during the heresy, Vulcan got kidnapped as a prisoner of Conrad Kurz, Mr. Nightlord, Mr. Edge Batman,
Yeah.
your favorite.
I like him.
Conrad tortured Vulcan and killed him multiple times. Now, surprisingly, when you die as Perpetual and come back to life, it kind of messes up with your mind and makes you go a bit mental. 'Cause, you know, you're suffering all this pain, you're dying, you're coming back with the memories of how you died, and you're, you know, dying again. Conrad would torture Vulcan constantly because he knew it was a Perpetual, to the point where canonically Conrad killed him with a spoon. And obviously Vulcan, being mentally distraught by this, ended up breaking out of prison and just fleeing. Not fighting Conrad, he just broke out of prison and fled with his life. Because, you know, if you died constantly and kept coming back to life, I don't think you'd want to face the person who kept doing that. You just want to go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, Vulcan was the nicest of the Primarchs. When Emperor said about the best thing of each Primarch, he said Vulcan's best thing was his humanity.
Oh, is that the
His
salamander?
humility. Yeah, that's the salamander.
Yeah. Okay.
He was also the biggest of the Primarchs. He was like almost as tall as Emperor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that nice, peaceful guy who, by the way, isn't as peaceful? Okay, so Vulcan story time.
Okay.
Planet that had humans and Eldar, you know, living in coexistence. He had to like convert them. He was told to kill the Xenos, which he did because, you know, Xenos cringe and bad. But he like saved the humans and like stopped them killing the humans. This Eldar child ran up to him, being like, "Please don't kill me," and Vulcan just point blank put a flamer to the child's face and burned them alive. The most humane and like humanity Primarch burned an Eldar child alive in front of other children. It's like, "I'm an Eldar child, please don't hurt me." The big Vulcan man just like burns child to ashes, and he turns like, "Don't worry, children, I am here. I will protect you." You know, the nicest man on life would still burn an Eldar child to the ground.
Which is why there's no such thing as a good guy. There's no good guys.
Yeah,
in...
the nicest Primarch still would just burn a child. It's the funniest thing.
That's awesome.
It's like,
That's
remember that story of like, I think I sent you the excerpt where this Ultramarine was killing like Tau warriors, and he found a Tau like woman who was fleeing with her life, and it's like, would your god want this? And Mr. Kato Sicarius stormed in saying yes he would, booted her to the ground, stomped through her chest, wiped his boots, spat on her corpse, and just walked on as if it was nothing. And the other one, who was like being convinced, was like, damn. Because Kato was just like, yeah, my god would want me to kill innocent civilians. Just
Right.
basically curb stomped her to death.
Oh man.
Spat on her. Yeah, it's amazing. Like, Space Marines are just brutal killing machines at the end of the day. That's what they're programmed to do.
So there's no good guys in Warhammer, but what about like what are the Tau? I don't understand them.
No, Tau are a funny story. So let me break it down.
Break it down for you, Mark.
Yes, Rogue Trader fleet, which are like, you know, the merchants, they go out, explore, colonize worlds or that, found this little planet that had these blue people with sticks, basically still like caveman, you know, whacking each other, and they were like, stupid alien race, we'll just move on. That planet got stuck in a warp storm, and, you know, warp doesn't play with rules, so, you know, that warp storm is there for 100 years, but in the Tau's timeline, it was more like 3,000.
Oh.
So, you know, that little aliens were like, let's actually not fight each other, we can just unite together. And they did. They built things up. Warp storm cleared. Tower there with their big Gundam ships and their AI-powered starships. And, you know, their rail cannons, their Gundam mechs, their, you know, pulse carbines. So they became the most advanced race in 40k, except for Eldar and Necrons. Their technology is way more advanced, but they're the most technologically advanced alien race at that time. And they're all about, the greater good. Basically like communists, like, we all believe in the greater good. They're like peaceful. But, their peace was met by hostility. They're like the young guys to 40k. Their stories are interesting because it's coming from a person who doesn't understand 40k canonically. So they don't know what the warp is. Tau souls are that weak, Chaos demons can't see them.
Really?
They have very weak souls, they can't be possessed by demons. So there's a great story where they were like, they do these like sphere expansions. So like the fourth spheres expansion, they took some ships from these human worlds that they colonized and converted to the greater good. They saw these warp drives and they like reverse engineered them, but they didn't know what a Geller field was, which is the psychic shield to protect humans from being detected by demons. So they were like, let's give this a run to test warp travel. They did. All the human crew started screaming, being possessed, mutating, or dying, or becoming warp portals. And obviously the demons can't possess the Tau, but they can see the Tau and go and kill them because you're now in the warp. And the Tau got out of the warp and were that traumatized by it. The company of Tau that was on that expansion and saw all the humans starts just gunning down humans on sight because they think of them as like evil batteries and like monsters. So the Tau who just talk and convince humans to come to their side, these Tau are now coming back, seeing Gavessa, which is like the human auxiliaries, and we'll just start gunning them down on sight. And the other Tau had to stop them and be like, well, what the fuck are you doing, mate? And they had to explain what happened. So now you've got racist Tau, racist against humans, because they saw what happened. They were like, no, humans bad, gun them down on sight. They're also Tau are also getting more grim dark because they're realizing how brutal the world is, and they're like, we can't be as peaceful or nice anymore, so they're starting to be more, aggressive, more xenophobic, more racist.
Right.
So even the Tau who are good guys are now just gunning down their own like auxiliaries, thinking they're evil battery possessed. And there's the Foresight Enclaves are kind of like a rogue part of the Tau, where they think the Ethereals are bad and like manipulating them, so they kind of branched off from them.
What are Ethereals?
The main figureheads of the Tau. So like,
oh, okay.
I'm going to say this, but there's a Tau character called On Sao or Av Sao. I can't remember his name, but he wears in white. He's got 2 honor guard with him. He has a white chair that he floats around. He's got a big white hat, and he's like the main ethereal. He's the Pope.
Oh. Okay.
So the Ethereals are like the religious sect. They control the Tau through like pheromones, almost. And Farsight was able to break off from the Ethereals, and he started having his own thinking. And it's like, the Ethereals are kind of manipulating us to do what they want, and like sending them off to do like missions that aren't really good. So he broke off and made the Farsight Enclaves, or kind of like away from that, from the Ethereal's grasp. So yeah, even the Tau are not good guys. They're now getting more xenophobic and gunning people down on science. They're being all polite and stuff.
Could you make an argument that the Tyranids aren't necessarily good or bad guys because they're just bugs?
They're just fading off instinct, yeah. They're just doing it for survival, off instinct. So they're technically the nicest people, air quotes.
I mean, I think that's
They're not doing it maliciously, they're doing it to survive.
right.
And because the
That's
hive mind
understandable.
says we need to feed. But they've also kind of... So if we go back to the Necrons, remember the Silent King?
Yes.
He kind of was the one that agreed with the Deceiver to do this plan. So he felt, responsible for his entire kingdom, his entire race. So he exiled, when all the Necrons went to sleep, instead of because they couldn't fight the Elder and the Crooks together, they were weak after fighting the Satan, so they went to big tombs and fell asleep for billions and billions of years. That's how the Elder came to power, because the Necrons were gone.
Huh.
Yeah, instead of going to sleep, the Silent King exiled himself to the... he left the galaxy, he went to the edges of the rims, the blackness of the galaxy. So, he exiled himself. He came back in the 41st millennium when the Necrons were starting to wake up, because, a little admit guy diddled on a green console, and the Necrons woke up and were like, get off my lawn. We're the rulers of the galaxy, which they aren't anymore, but,
Right.
Tim's just started waking up on planets with hive cities, and the hive cities just got atomized. Or if you're certain, Necron overlords, you would be like, we're giving you 48 planetary hours to leave our planet. If you don't, we will execute and take over this planet by force. So some are nice and are like, yo, you're on our planet, we're gonna give you 48 hours to leave, otherwise we're gonna kill you. So piss off.
Right.
Which is very fun. Yeah.
But they're not all like that.
No, someone will just wake up and be like, ooh, no Necrons, kill them all, take over the planet. And, Necron leaders kind of have ego, so they will fight each other at times. There's Necron civil wars that are kind of commonplace. Because two overlords will be like, this is our planet, we woke up on it, and they'll start fighting each other. Because they're from different dynasties. So, anyway, Silent King came back from the edge of the galaxy to his people because he saw the Tyranids.
Oh.
Now, there was a theory that he created the Tyranids, and it was a bio... Because he's trying to... His whole goal is to get the Necrons back to their biological bodies, like flesh and blood again. So there's a theory he experimented with the Tyranids, and he accidentally created Tyranids in the hive mind, he fled. But the main reason is he saw the Tyranids, and the Tyranids had eaten everything, and we are the last galaxy on its plate. Because, the Tyranids aren't just, coming from one part of the galaxy, they're coming from every part of the galaxy, so we're surrounded. We're the last galaxy. Theory is we're the last galaxy alive in this universe that the Tyranids haven't eaten, because anywhere else is just black void. There's no life or anything, so...
Sorry. Hey, Apocalypse Super, you're gonna grind. Yeah, you know what? I'll do the same to you. Go ahead.
Alright, so,
Sorry. Someone joined chat.
sorry, someone, just DM'd me,
Oh, that's fine.
No, someone got hacked, so they just DM'd me, a Discord server, Lustful Roleplay, so I just left.
Oh!
They're definitely hacked, so I've just closed the DM, so,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the main theory is Silent King came back to unite the Necrons, because uniting the Necrons is the only way to kind of kill the Tyranids, because they just atomize the body, leave no biological matter for them to eat. Tyranids ignore Necrons and demons because they kind of get biomass from them, because Necrons teleport away when they die to get refixed, but they're also male, they're not biological, so Tyranids don't eat them. There's a great story where Tyranids were eating this human world, and there was a demon invasion, and the fact that the Tyranids, anytime they killed a demon, the demon went back to the warp and left no corporeal body to eat. and whenever the demon, like Horn, it was Corn Demons specifically, whenever the Corn Demons killed Tyranids, and they just saw that Tyranids basically ate the biomass and made more Tyranids, they both kind of just left. They both kind of dipped. The Tyranids dipped back. No, the demons snipped back to the warp, being like, "There's no point. We don't win this fight." And the Nids were like, "We don't get biomass, so we're just gonna dip as well." So they both kind of like left. They both kind of like pieced out from each other, which is kind of funny. Demons also don't really fight Necrons because there's no souls, so it's like we kill bodies, they come back, so they also just piece out. But Necrons know Chaos and it's like the main threat, so they kill them whenever they can. Because I don't know if you know this, but Necrons have a way to turn the warp off. But the problem is when they do that, it creates a pariah nexus, which, you know, cause you know how all souls are connected to the warp.
Yeah.
If you turn off the warp, you kind of become a soulless husk. So,
Okay.
you know, you kind of become like a mindless zombie. Not unlike a generic like zombie brains. One of those where like you shamble around, you're kind of groaning, you're dribbling out of one side of your mouth.
Right.
You know, that kind of mindless zombie. So, Necrons can easily turn off like the Great Schism now, because the Eye-Terror ripped across the entire galaxy now, because Cadia had the biggest like Blackstone pillar that kind of kept the Eye of Terror contained. But after Cadia blew up, because Abaddon kind of flew a massive planet-sized ship into it and it blew up, the Eye of Terror kind of ripped through the middle of the galaxy and caused the Great Schism, where half of the galaxy is now blocked from the Astronomicon, so they're just in pitch black. They're just constantly getting demonic invasions. Chaos Legions see them as weak prey. So, like, if you look at a galaxy map, there's the big purple line. Actually, let me DM you one. Like, there we go. Lexicanum, we love that one. I consider hold on a moment.
You know, as repetitive as this challenge is, I would still rather be doing this than those stupid SAM trials.
Okay, so if you look at your DMs, that's the galaxy map.
Alright, let me... Alright, hold up. Oh! That's nothing like what I expected. Okay.
Yeah, so see at the top left, you see Cadia
Yeah.
and the Eye of Terror. Yeah, that used to just be like a little purple splodge, but because Cadia got destroyed, it allowed the warp to kind of just cause a massive rift through the galaxy. So, yeah, the orcs call it Mork's Grin because they have two gods. They worship Gork and Mork. So they call it like Gork or Mork's Grin because it looks like a grin.
I see that, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Eldar don't like it because, you know, Chaos.
Right.
It's very close to, you know, Holy Terra, as you can see.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, there's some Tyranid Hyphae that kind of, like, breached into the solar system, so yay.
So, is that the entire map of the Warhammer 40k universe?
That's the universe, that's the 40k universe, that entire galaxy map, yes. Anywhere else is just the pitch black void that the Nids have already eaten, so that's the last planets.
Oh. So it's not
Yes.
it's not that it hasn't been explored, it's that it literally doesn't exist.
Yes, and see those like red sectors?
Yeah, I saw those, yeah.
Oh, they're bad. See the ghoul stars in the top right? There's an entire Space Marine chapter that sits and looks after the ghoul stars, because even Chaos doesn't go to the ghoul stars, because you know what happens in the ghoul stars?
What?
Very much Cthulhu Apothicon bullshit. So like planets will turn to big writhing tentacles, and even Chaos doesn't understand what the hell's happening there. It's basically like cosmic horror times 100.
So you tell me not even Chaos understands it?
Yeah, not even Chaos, the gods
Well,
understand
that's
what the hell is
interesting.
happening. Ghoul stars are a very interesting place. So are the Halo stars, because in the Halo stars you can find an artifact called a Halo ring that you can put on. No. They're called Halo rings because they're from the Halo stars. You put it on, and you find yourself, you know, looking more beautiful, getting more wealthy. People like you more. But then you start kind of craving flesh and blood until you turn to like a vampire almost. So you kind of, it's like a vampire ring. You get more wealth and fame, but then you end up like craving flesh, blood. You turn into a monster. You get to a point where like you become an unkillable monster, so people have to kill you before you get to that point. Because otherwise you could evolve to like a bulletproof skin and stuff like that. It's very whacked. Also, there's like Xenos races in the outer rims that we don't know about that can just 1v1 a space marine like they're nothing. Yeah, the Ghoul stars, the Halo stars, the Veiled region and the Eastern Fringe are not good places. Eastern Fringe is where the Tau homeworld is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hold on, open browser. Yeah, you can see their Tau Empire. That's where they were first met. And you also got like the homeworlds of like each chapter here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's Necromunda. There's Krieg. Just outside the solar system.
Yep.
All the orc faces are like big orc, like rock fleets. Now, rocks are basically orcs will take, or space hulks. Orcs will find a big asteroid, strap engines to it, and just fly it into a planet. With a lot of orcs inside the rock. That's how they invade planets.
I like that.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you also, in Space Marine 1, you find orcs and you see rocks strike into the planet. Yeah. You also see, like, leftover orc stuff in Boltgun, because Boltgun is set on the same planet. It's like kind of a sequel to Space Marine 1 that Bench was playing. You see, like, orc rocks, you see, like, orc drills, where orcs will just have drills that come out of the ground and the orcs will pile out of them. Orcs are very funny because their whole thing is if they believe it's real, it will work. You can pick up an orc gun, they've got no ammo or firing mechanism, you'll shoot it, nothing. You give it to an orc, because that orc believes that gun shoots, it will start firing or have ammo.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Orcs
awesome.
believe purple is the stealthiest color, because have you ever seen a purple orc? Didn't fucking think so.
So orcs are the comic relief.
Oh yeah, they've got like stereotypical like British chav accents.
Ha!
Like
That's
if you just
funny.
type in Space Marine orcs or Space Marine 1 orcs voice lines and you just hear like the main war boss, he's like Space Marine and all this stuff. Like talking slang. They're great. Also on tabletop, if you're playing orcs, you're just playing for, you know, the fun of it, because half the time your own stuff will just blow up. They're like Skaven in fantasy, they're like the comic relief. Orcs in fantasy are actually kind of like, you know, fantasy orcs are terrifying. The comic relief in fantasy is Skaven, because Skaven will kill their own people, run them over. They'll use Warpstone on a cannon, or like, it can do a lot of mortal, or it could blow itself up, or even worse, it could redirect itself to like one of your friendly units and just blow up your friendly units, and that's fine because you've got rat slaves, so you don't care about their lives. Fantasy and Sigmar is its own being, but we're talking about 40k now, and yeah, so we're on about Tyranids and that. So yeah, Tyranids, the Hive Fleets used to only come from like the eastern fringe, but now they've started to come from the south, the north, the west. One of the Hive Fleets got near the solar system. There was a Genestealer cult uprising on Terra one time that the Custodes had to deal with. Like, a Genestealer somehow made it to Terra, made its own cult. So you almost had Tyranids finding a way to Terra because of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not a good place.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, anyway, did you have any more questions or that?
Not really. No, that's pretty good. You you know your stuff.
I love Fortnite. I've been playing this for like 15 years.
Oh wow.
I started in 2010, so like not 15 years exactly, but
Right,
15
right.
years.
Wow.
And I started off with Necrons because I love Necrons. Necrons are my favorite
That's
army.
cool. Well, I appreciate you spending the time to explain all that.
I was getting paid for this, right?
Yeah, in appreciation and a deepening of a friendship.
That doesn't get me a pizza.
No, it does not. You are right about
Actually, my birthday is next month on the 22nd, so I'm gonna guilt trip you into getting me something. Maybe, I don't know.
that. I'll DoorDash you a pizza from America.
I was gonna get cold by then.
So, you have an oven.
What do you mean so? But it's gonna be like 2-week-old pizza.
That adds flavor.
Okay, whatever, buddy.
Oh, were you the one that was telling me about Motortown, by the way?
Yes, you're playing one of its songs on this stream
Am I?
at one point. There's one of the songs that you play that's also the Motortown like theme music.
Huh.
It's the one that's the banjo.
I'm sure I'll recognize it then, because I listen to this playlist I have a lot. But, yeah, my brother said, "Oh, Jake, did you ever hear this game, Motortown?" I said, "Yeah, I know someone. One of my friends told me about it a long while ago, and I forgot to look into it." He showed me it, and he showed me videos of it, and we watched, like, probably 40 minutes of gameplay, so I bought it. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
this is
great.
worth it.
I'll reinstall it, but like it's good fun.
Yeah,
Like, you
it's-
just kind of drive around, do jobs and that.
yeah. I'm thinking of turning it into maybe either member-only videos or member streams or something. I don't know. Oh, by the way, do you want to be part of a Pokemon Smash or Pass?
Absolutely.
I'll let you know if I end up doing that. I don't know.
No, you will do it.
I might. If I do it, it's gonna be a member-only video. But I'll let you know.
Do I have to get a membership to view that, or can I see it because I'm a mod?
I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know. I could definitely look into that, but I mean,
no.
it wouldn't make sense for you not to be able to see it.
Alright, how?
At the very
Okay.
least, I could probably make you a creative mod, like you are with Super, and then you should be able to watch them. But
I'm just trying to see if I can find a member-only video and like watch it, but I'm not seeing it.
yeah,
How do I even see if it's a member-only video? What?
I don't know, honestly.
Neither do I. Playlist. No. No, but I'll just wait and see.
All right. Yeah. Oh, I actually do have another question about Warhammer. So,
I knew it, right?
well, because I just remembered, I've been watching this guy. I think his name on YouTube is like Sandman or something. But he was reading an excerpt from one of the books, and it was a video about Li Tu, who I love, and about how the Emperor almost became like a god of the warp or something. I don't know. It was this whole thing about like the tarot cards.
Oh,
It was
I don't-
really deep.
That must be before he was put on the throne, but
It was, yeah.
no, the throne and everyone. So when he was put on the throne, everyone started worshiping him as a god because they made the ecclesiarchy, which is the big boy church of the Imperium. So everyone starts worshipping like the
Yeah.
Imperium truth and the Emperor. Like that's where like for the Emperor and in the Emperor's name and all that.
Yeah.
It's also how the Sisters of Battle existed, because technically they followed the rule of like, you can't have a what was it? You can't have any like men with weapon to like defend the church. I can't remember the whole term, but like something about like you can't have men of war.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, okay, we'll make them women and female because they're not a man of war. They're sisters of battle. And they were like, okay, technically that's allowed. So that's how you've got the sisters, who are they literally like sisters. They worship the Emperor. Their drop pods are churches, so they'll drop churches onto a planet because they're all like religious fanatics.
That's cool.
They believe in the Holy Trinity of the Bolter, the Flamer, the Melta. Like, heretics will be cleansed of their sin of existence and stuff like that. Which, I don't know if you've been watching Twitter, but like,
No,
very topical.
I have
the-
not.
Oh, I'll not get too into it, but someone called another Catholic a fake Catholic because they believed in they had the sin of empathy, and everyone's like, that's a Warhammer. The sin of empathy, excuse me. So everyone's putting that on like the double-headed eagle of the Imperium, like the sin of empathy.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a great quote, but like
Oh,
it's political stuff if
yeah,
you want to
as
know at all.
always, yeah.
But like again, that kind of sums up the sisters. Like, if you have empathy towards like, people that don't believe in the god, that's a sin. You die. If you're a mutant, you die. If you're a traitor, you very much die. The sisters are like the religious wing, but basically everyone's tied to the Emperor that much, and if you have that much power or like. Because also every soul's connected to the warp. All of your emotions and feelings go into the warp as well. This one I'm going to sidetrack and talk about the Chaos God. So, the gods have two sides to them, the good and the bad. So Khorne, god of war, god of blood, killing, but he's also the god of honor.
Is that
Loyalty?
where blood for the blood god comes from?
That's his saying. Blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne.
Right. Okay, because that's been in my book a couple times. All right.
Yeah, which is funny because the sisters have a saying called "blood for the golden throne, skulls for the emperor,"
Ha. That's funny.
which is really funny.
That's awesome.
But yeah, like the god Khorne sits on a throne of skulls, so and he's the god of blood. Khorne cares not from whence the blood flows, as long as blood is flowing. If you're a space marine and you kill an alien, Khorne likes that because there's blood. If you're an alien and you kill another alien, Khorne likes that because you spilled blood. If you're a Khorne worshipper and you kill another Khorne worshipper, Khorne loves that. But Khorne is also like the god of honor, of loyalty. So he won't backstab you. If he has a problem with you, he'll say to your face like, I don't like you, 1v1 me, we're going to duke this out to the death. It's why Khorne doesn't use psychers and he's not a psychic man.
Oh.
All Khorne demons are anti-psyker.
Huh.
Yeah, so
Huh.
if you have the blessing of Khorne, you don't use magic because Khorne finds magic unfair, not honorable.
Huh.
So Tzeentch, the god of mischief, the god of change, you know, bullshittery,
Yeah.
god of magic. Guess what his flip side is?
What?
He's the god of change, so if there's always a solution to your predicament, things can change. He's the god of hope.
Huh.
Because, you know, if bad things are there, he's the god of change. He can change that. You know, it might be a monkey paw situation like he did to Magnus, but, you know, things can get better. Things can change. There is always a solution to your predicament. So he's literally like the god of hope and god of change. The god of, you know, hey, nothing will ever stay this way. Things are changing. Nothing is set in stone. But he's also the god of, like, things are set in stone, I can just change it whenever I want. But things are also not final, not set in stone. Nurgle, god of death, pestilence, disease. His flip side is he's the god of life. You know, he gives finality to people. You know how you will die. Everyone will become the same. In the ground, maggot infested. Everyone has finality. He's the god of life, you know, the circle of life. Death makes maggots, but maggots create life, which also helps the ecosystem, because like flies and maggots eat the carrion, which also makes the life system nice. You know, god of diseases, but also god of cures. So Nurgle's basically Gaia. He's the god of life, also the god of death. Now, Slaanesh, the newest god, the god of sex and pleasure, and, you know, excess. The god that is also a dude and a woman, and neither at the same time. They're also the god of pleasure. They're the god of, you know, feelings. Any, you know, the wind on your face, that she gets powered by that. She embraces that. You know, having a good meal, having a good sleep, anything that gives you pleasure. Anything that gives you emotions, she's the god of. So, like, you know, that's how she's good. Because she gives you emotions, pleasure, making you feel happy. Also sad. Just... So they're all good and bad.
Huh. I didn't know that.
So, like-
I just assumed they were all bad.
No, they have a flip side. Like, again, Khorne will kill you, but he'll not stab you in the back or use magic on you. He'll be like, I want to kill you. Do you want to fight this out? He won't just strike at you randomly. He'll just be like, I want an honourable duel. Fight me.
So then...
Tzeentch might cause you a problem, but he can also change it for you.
So why did they corrupt Horus to kill the Emperor?
Because humans think more bad thoughts than good, which fuels the warp. So they're more evil than normal.
Oh, okay.
And also, you know, if you're evil and you're getting all this bad stuff put into you, you kind of want to be like, we see these superhuman demigods that we can manipulate to work for us, because it's not easy getting demons super far away from the Eye of Terra. You need like a mortal fighting force, and that's what the Chaos Space Marines provided. And also, Erebus is a word bearer, and Typhus was praying to Nurgle. Erebus knew the Chaos Gods existed and worshipped them. He was a big Chaos follower before he became a Space Marine. He manipulated Lorgar to kind of worship Chaos as well, and being like, you want worship, there's gods that actually listen and will give you result. Like, if you do a satanic ritual in 40k, you will get genuine success, no matter what. Even if it's botched, you'll just summon a different demon. Like, if you want to summon a Khorne demon and you mess it up, you might get a Tzeentch one instead. Or you might get possessed. Or something horrible might happen, but you'll get a result. But yeah, then Erebus, like, we know where there's a Xenos faction that worship Chaos. It's like a side, it's not like any of the big players, like a minor Xenos faction. So they went that Horus basically got shanked and died, but Erebus did a ritual, like a chaotic dagger filled with demons, that like revived Horus. but Horus started to change because he was getting, you know, manipulated. He kept hearing like the gods whisper to him. So his like good side was trying to fight back, but he ended up losing, and the gods kind of got their grasp on him. And he was blessed by all 4 gods, so he had the mark of all 4 gods. All 4 gods were like, you are our pawn. The same happened to Fulgrim of the Emperor's Children. He fought Xenos called the Lamian, and he found a Chaos Blade called the Lamian Blade, which had a Sinesh demon in it that kept whispering to him, being like, you know, you're beautiful, you can get perfection, you're a great swordsman, think of the excess and the pleasure. And he was fighting, so the demon would take him over, and he would become like a spectre in his own body, trying to fight back. So, Fulgrim also got the very first Primarch kill in Heresy. He killed my Primarch, Ferris.
I knew it. Yeah?
Ferris and Fulgrim were basically brothers, like best of friends. Ferris would lean on Fulgrim, Fulgrim would lean on Ferris. They would never be separable. When Horus was like, yo, Emperor bad, Fulgrim was convinced because, you know, the Demon Blade.
Right.
And Horus was like, Ferris is really strong as a Primarch, we could get him on his side. Fulgrim, do you think you can convince him? Fulgrim's like, Ferris is my bro, I can convince him. So Fulgrim meets up with Ferris. Fulgrim's like, yo, Ferris, the Emperor's bad, we're going to betray him. We're going to stage a coup. Do you want in? Ferris decked him the second he heard that.
Huh.
Because Ferris was loyal to the Emperor. And he would never think of betraying them. So, Fulgrim and Ferris got into a fight. Fulgrim won because he's a master, you know, duelist and that. Knocked him out but didn't kill him. But he stole his weapon. Like, he stole Ferris's hammer and he gave it to Perturabo. So Perturabo now has a full hammer? I think his hammer's called. So, Fulgrim... So, Ferris had to fight on Esteban against Fulgrim with one of his swords. I think No, it's not Firebrand, it's like a different sword. Ferris made one of Fulgrim's sword, which was Firebrand. He might have used it, or he might have used like a big wrench. Some of the artwork just has him with like a massive Primarch-sized wrench that he had to fight with. And he was winning that fight until Fulgrim gave in completely to the demon of the blade that allowed him to decapitate Ferris. So that's when Fulgrim was lost. Although he nearly went on a redemption arc, because after he did that, the demon let go of Fulgrim so he could see what he'd done. And Fulgrim was there at his brother's body with like the head in his lap, crying, being like, I can't believe I've done this. I didn't want this to happen. And then the demon convinced him and being like, no, you're just better than him. You're better than all of these people. And then the demon fully took over Fulgrim, and like loyalist Fulgrim became lost and ended up becoming like a screaming face in his armor. That, you know, that's normal Fulgrim. The actual Fulgrim is a demon that took over his body because he finally because he was broken that moment, the demon found its way to fully control him and not share his body.
Huh.
So, yeah, so everything is Erebus' fault. Because Erebus started this and he manipulated everyone. And Horus was able to like convince the others because Perty wasn't happy with the Emperor because he wasn't getting credit and he was getting shit jobs. Fulgrim was already corrupted. Lorgar was convinced to join. Conrad at this point had blown up his planet to try and get some salvation for his, because his planet was just a bunch of like murderers and rapists that became space marines. His planet was bad. The only thing, as Bricky said in his talk about Conrad, his planet, the only thing keeping down the population was the suicide rates.
Huh.
Nocturne was not not Nocturne. Can't remember his planet's name, but it was not a good place. Like, it was eternal night. Everyone fought himself, and Conrad literally became like Batman because he had his own like twisted sense of justice
You know,
and all that.
now that you... no, keep going, keep going. I have a question, but keep going.
So, Horus was corrupted, Fulgrim was corrupted, Lorgar was convinced, Perry was sick of his shit and wanted... Like, he was bitter. Conrad was not really chaos, he was kind of like a renegade at this point, so he just joined, so he had friends or like backup. Angron had a very tragic story and he wanted to kill the Emperor since then. Morty was petty as fuck, so he just joined. And who's the last one I'm missing? Oh, Alpharius and Almagon. They're a unique story where they found a Xenos race, or they technically found an old one who was dying, and the old one was like, to save humanity you have to join the Horus and his heresy. But you have to play both sides, so they split up. Like, Alpharius was like the bad, but Almagon was like the loyalist. It was weird, but like, it's the whole thing like, the Alpha Legion joined Horus because they were told it was the only way to save humanity was to let Chaos win, so they joined Horus. So that's how you got the 9. Oh, and Magnus the Red did not Emperor at this point because, well, Magnus was not convinced, and then when Magnus tried to send a warp message to Emperor to like, Horus is betraying people, that caused a problem on Terra and blew up his Webway project, which caused, you know, the portal under Terra that the custodians have to guard forever.
Yeah.
So Magnus was Emperor was like, he's a little shit. He's gonna send a message to Ferris to bring, not Ferris, Lehman Russ to bring Magnus in so we can talk to him, because Emperor told Magnus not to use psychic stuff because it would cause problems, and he didn't listen. Magnus was trying to be, you know, helpful and be a good son. So Emperor sent that message, it got intercepted by Horus and changed to, Lehman Russ, you have to kill Magnus and his home planet, they are traitors. And Russ, reading that, seeing it's from the Emperor, just accepted it and went to Magnus's planet and burnt it down. Basically did a big, like, culling. Russ loves racing, so he found Magnus and did a backbreaker on him, like broke his spine, which also broke his soul. And the loyal shard of Magnus was lost since then. So Magnus was able to put himself together, but he lost his loyal part of his soul, which ended up going into another Thousand Son who became the first Grey Knight, which, a long story, but that happened. So then Magnus ended up joining Horus because he lost his loyal part of his soul. Like, the loyal shard of Magnus was gone after, you know, he got his back broken in half. So you've got those 9 traitors, and then the other 9 are loyalists. The 9 traitors called the loyalist part of their legion, like, took them to a planet and killed them all. Like, mass killing of all the loyalist elements of their chapter. So they were all the traitors. It was Death Guard, Iron Warriors, and World Eaters at first, and Word Bearers. No, Word Bearers followed Lorgar to a fault, so all of them were traitor from beginning. So Death Guard, World Eaters, and Iron Warriors called all their loyalist parts on Estevan, one of the Estevans. But Nathaniel Guy, one of the Death Guard, heard over that plan and was able to escape and warn the Emperor with like some Emperor's children that were still loyal, and World Eaters. So, yeah, big thing that happened. Horus Heresy is a great read, but it was also like books.
Yeah,
Some being like thousands
insane.
of pages.
That's insane. I can't believe there's close to, if not over, 100 books in
Well,
one series.
The Siege of Terra, if you just want to read about the Siege of Terra when the traitors got to Terra and, you know, Emperor Showdown, the Siege of Terra series called The End and Death Volume, Part 1, 2, 3 in that just talks about the Terra part of the heresy, which is where you see Demon Fulgrim, Demon Morty, Pearl Rabble Rage quitting, You know, the Emperor Sanguinius Horus showdown. All that fun jazz. How Malkador was able to sit on the throne, and then when Emperor got back wounded, he was just a charred husk. All that fun stuff. But you said you had a question.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it. It was about, like, I know the Night Lords are, they're traitor, but they're not chaos, and I thought there was one or two others that were the same. Like, are they just on those legions? Are they just on their own, basically creating their own mini army away from humanity, the Emperor, and chaos?
Yeah.
Or are they like
Night Lords don't worship chaos. They just want to see the Imperium burn and die because they felt betrayed. So they don't use demons. Anyone that like shows inklings of like being, you know, chaos affiliated, like that's not good. I don't remember the book, but I think it's just in the Night Lords omnibus, which you should read if you like Night Lords. Sevatar is my favorite autistic space marine. He is literally autistic. Like, he has psychic powers of like prescience, but it's not like he has psychic powers. You can just see the future, so we just call him autistic. It's funny.
funny?
Yeah. So any Night Lords, most Night Lords, because you know the blood rage and that would fall to Khorne. Any that fall to Khorne have to have their hands and greaves painted red, so everyone knows they've fallen to a Chaos God,
Oh
and
yeah,
they're kind
you
of
told me
shunned.
that before. Yeah.
Yeah, so like normal Night Lords have like the blue and gold, but if you fell to Khorne, you had to paint your arms red so everyone knew. Which is also sad because in that omnibus, a Khorne Night Lord who's actually nice, but he gets the twitches to kill him. That one of the Night Lords exploits that. Night Lord starts killing innocent crew members, and he puts the blame to the Khorne guy, and the other Night Lords just believe it because he's Khorne. He'd obviously do that.
Right.
So, yeah. Night Lords don't worship chaos. Iron Warriors don't. They use demons as cannon fodder and like siege artillery, which is very funny. Yeah, like Iron Warriors are like the siege specialists of the traitors, so they'll send out rhinos full of like civilians or cultists. They'll see where the artillery barrages land, be like, that's our max range, we'll build our defenses behind that, so they can't hit us. So we know the max range, we just send innocent civilians to get bombed, so we know where we can set up and not get shelled. They'll also summon demons to shove into like demon engines to use as cannon fodder as well. Because, you know, they don't worship chaos, they use it.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah, the other legions kind of just... Alpha Legion don't worship chaos. They are kind of, you know, espionage, mess with the Imperium, but sometimes help the Imperium in a funny way. They are very much like, they could be traitor, but not, but you'll never know until they tell you, which they won't. But they might. Bullshit. They're literally like that. There's a story of a guy chasing an Alpha Legionnaire, and when he corners him, the Alpha Legionnaire turns around and he sees he got surgery to look like the guy chasing him, like the investigator, because this was the plan all along. Get cornered so he can kill the investigator and assume his identity.
Right.
Yeah, so your classic espionage, James Bond stuff. But you're a space marine, yeah. And you're all Alpharius, you all look the same. Olive skin, bald head, green eyes. You're all Alpharius. You kill one person, the other screams, I am Alpharius. Which, when Alpharius was killed on Pluto by Rogo Dorn, usually when your Primarch dies, because all Marines have like an attachment to that Primarch from the gene seed. When your Primarch dies, all the Marines feel that. See, when Alpharius died, none of the Alpha Legion even flinched or cared.
Wow.
They were that stuck in the bit of I am Alpharius when their Primarch actually died, and they probably felt it, they felt nothing to keep up the illusion, so you had to double guess if Alpharius died. But he did because Dorn was like, I know that was my brother I killed, because Primarchs also have that brotherly motive with each other. So he knows he killed Alpharius or Omegon. So, yeah. But yeah, you've got Iron Warriors and Night Lords that don't use... They use Chaos as a tool, or Night Lord's case, they don't use Chaos at all. They're like pirates. They're like Space Marine pirates. And like, you know, renegades and that. Iron Warriors use Chaos and Demons as cannon fodder. They kind of... They don't worship the gods, they kind of use them. Because, you know... They don't want to be ruled, they want to serve.
Right.
They also just want to see the Imperium die and burn. Thousand Suns are Tzeentch affiliated, and World Eaters are Khorne affiliated. Funny that. Death Guard are Nurgle affiliated, and Emperor's Children are Slaanesh affiliated. They only worship those gods.
Wow.
So there's got those four. You've got those two. Black Legion get Word Bearers get the blessing of all four gods, because they're the ones that started the heresy. They're the ones that communicated with the gods. The gods listen to them. The last two, Alpha Legion don't use Chaos at all, so there's that. The last one is the Black Legion, who the former sons of Horus. When Horus died, Abaddon called him a failure and shunned the whole title of being the Sons of Horus because they didn't want to be affiliated to a failure. And so they became the Black Legion because they adorned their armor in black and brass. Now, the thing with Black Legion is you can worship any god. Abaddon is blessed by all four gods. And any legion can join the Black Legion. If you're a Death Guard and you want to be part of the Black Legion, you can. You'll keep your green helmet, but the rest of your body turned black and brass. You like, paint it to fit the Black Legion. So, like, Black Legion will have Plague Marines, they'll have Rubric, they'll have Noise Marines, they'll have core, like, Berserkers. The Berserkers are called the Hounds of Abaddon because they're feral mutts that just run ahead. So they're the Hounds of Abaddon, like feral hounds. So anyone can join Black Legion. Black Legion are like the biggest legion because they're the ones that do the most, you know, raiding of Imperium stuff. So if there's never a Black Crusade, you've got like the main figureheads of Black Legion ships. Then you'll have the Death Guard prop up working with the Thousand Suns, which all the gods hate each other, but they have one god in particular they hate more. So Nurgle hates Tzeentch because while Nurgle is stagnation, Tzeentch is change, and Tzeentch also hates Nurgle because of that. And Khorne hates Slaanesh because Slaanesh steals his warriors. Because it's like, you can be a perfect swordsman, you don't have to listen to Khorne, you can be greater than what you are. And Khorne's kind of annoying because it's like, you know, manipulation and trickery is not honourable. So he hates Slaanesh. But like, when it comes to Abaddon, they all work together. So like, we need a pawn, and Abaddon is a pawn. Even though he keeps saying to himself, I'm not a pawn of the gods, I'm using them. He's very much a pawn.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the puppet.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And so, if, I mean, the gods are that powerful and everything else, how do they not know what's going on in the corner of the, I don't have the galaxy map pulled up, but, like,
But
how...
it's not in their view.
Oh.
They're only caring about the galaxy they can see. They don't know what's going on, but whenever they, like, peer their eyes in there, they see stuff even they don't quantify or
Interesting.
acknowledge.
Interesting.
Also, in case you're wondering, no, the gods cannot come into real space.
Oh.
That happened.
I didn't even
That
think about
happened
that.
in. That happened in fantasy, and it did not go well. So, canon time for fantasy, there was the end times, which was, you know, when everything was going bad, the Chaos were rising up, the Orcs were mobilizing, the Skaven were starting to make starships and kind of shot the moon down on the planet because they're mental. The Lizardmen decided we're gonna enter our pyramids, and they're actually spaceships, so they just flew off into the space. They didn't want any of this anymore. Everyone started dying horribly, and in the end, Chaos won and conquered the entire planet. So, Acheron the Everchosen, who is Fantasy Abaddon, he has all 4 blessings. He conquered, and he rose like, I think he had the beheaded. He had a beheaded Carl Francis, like the Emperor of humanity, or that. And Warp Portal opened, and Khorne, like his foot came into real space and stepped on the planet. Reality couldn't handle that, and so reality ended. It blew up.
Oh.
Reality can't. Yeah, that's how Age of Sigmar started, which is after that. Everything was destroyed, and Sigmar, who's like the human god, kind of had to piece everything together with the help of, you know, the dragon god, Nagash, Gork and Mork, the Chaos gods, trying to like fix everything that blew up. So you've got like many planets called realms, which are like flat plains. So like all the winds of magic became like their own realm. So like the realm of fire, which is like the magic fire, because like the magic winds went haywire, so then they end up their own realms. So like you've got the realm of life, the realm of death, the realm of shadows, light, fire, beasts, stuff like that. So they all became realms, which you can go through realm gates. But the warp still exists, by the way. The warp is eternal.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there's no crossover between fantasy and 40k bar sharing the same gods and the same demons. But there was a fun theory that fantasy was just like a backwater planet in the 40k universe. Because there's been weird crossover, like Teclis the elf, like the main elf, went into the warp and saw a silver giant shooting bolts from his gun, or like his wrist,
Oh.
that had like magic psychic power, which that's Kaldor Drago of the Grey Knights, because he's ever stuck in the warp. Who's batshit insane, but I hope we get more lore because Grey Knights get a codex. I hope he gets updated. Yeah, like there's also tangible places in the warp. Like there's a story of Tzeentch has like a maze where like you have to answer questions, but it was like you had like 3 people. One was lying, one was telling the truth, the other one was manipulating, and you had to get them all right. There was this random girl who showed up with holding a teddy bear, got all the answers right, made Tzeentch confused, and like tricked himself, and she was able to escape, and it was the only one to ever escape Tzeentch's realm. And even Tzeentch doesn't know what the fuck happened, or who that girl was. So there's things even Chaos just literally cannot understand.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But ages ago, Tyranids, they can kinda be infected by Chaos, but that's if they get severed from the hive mind, they become feral beasts, which is near impossible.
Really?
Although, we're going back to our favourite place, when the Tyranids sent a hive fleet into the Ghost Stars, the hive fleet came back rabid, corrupted, growing spikes and pus, and the Tyranids had to purge that hive fleet because it was affecting the hive mind. So something in the Ghost Stars corrupted a hive fleet of the Tyranids. The Tyranids had to like take away resources from planets they were killing to put that down before it went any worse.
Huh.
And again, Chaos can't do that. And the Ghost Stars are where all these like, you know, ethereal horrors, Cthulhu stuff, like cosmic horror stuff happens in the Ghost Stars.
That is awesome. That's cool.
Like, not even Necrons go in the Ghost Stars. The one tumor that lived in the ghost, they all turned into f***ers. They all lost their minds.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's not a nice place.
Part of me wants to check on the progress on this challenge. I've been in this match for almost 2.5 hours now.
Dave. Actually, no, it would have showed up if you did it.
Yeah, it would have shown if I already did it or not. I'll do 1 or 2 more brain rotted and then I'll check on the progress. Imagine if I made no progress.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, it would be kind of funny. Watch it be like 367 or some random number. You never know, I could be one away.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
Oh, you've done it?
There it is.
Oh my god.
Oh, there it is. Oh. I did it.
Be about that, huh?
Oh, man. Oh. Alright. That was more grindy than I anticipated. Well, actually, no. It's more grindy than I was hoping, but it's exactly as I anticipated.
Mm-hmm. Well, you finally did it.
I did. I did it.
Done did the thing. Did you ever look at the Kriegsman, by the way?
The what?
The Krieg link I sent you.
Not
Yesterday.
yet, no.
Oh no, that was today, never mind. I forgot I said yesterday because I'm now midnight.
Oh, that's alright. Alright, first, let's just take a look at the summary. This is what it looks like when you complete the Zombies 100%er. It's called Zombies 100%er. Complete all career, battle-hardened, and prestige challenges in Zombies. For no reason, I'm going to take a snapshot of that. Alright, and then I'm going to send it to myself for no reason at all.
Hey, you gotta tell yourself you did it.
That's true. And then if I go over here to barracks and challenges, I could equip any of these. I do really like the Prestige 100%er calling card. It goes through all the different Black Ops games since Black Ops 1 to 4. And
Where's World at War? That's a Black Ops game.
No, it's a World of War game. It just happens to have the Black Ops storyline. No. I don't know. I didn't make the calling card. Although I do like it. But we're going to go to the important part. Customize. We're going to go to calling card. Zombies. And there's a new one. There's a new one. There's a new one. And there's the big one. Zombies 100%er. We are done. Alright, so what's the plan? Now I'm going to... I might...
Well, now you're going to make a new account to speedrun doing all the challenges.
Oh, you think you're funny, don't you?
Yes,
You think you're
actually, yeah.
hilarious.
You're laughing, of course I am.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, so, I mean, I'm probably going to take a small break from Call of Duty. Just a couple days. And then,
You'll get one day at this point because the Tomb's out.
Alright, I'm going to take tomorrow off and I'm going to do a speed run of the Tomb Easter egg. But, oh, my back. Yeah, so I might try to get Nebula after I have my fun with the Tomb. Because, I mean, I did every challenge before I got Nebula. I might as well get Nebula at this point. And then I could try to get every Dark Ops challenge, or at the very least, Dark Ops Master. I'm close. You need 15. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm one away. I mean, I'm one Dark Ops challenge away. They're not easy challenges that remain, but, like, come on. So, I could do that. Either get Dark Ops 100% or Dark Ops Mastery, one or the other. I would like to do all the Dark Ops challenges, but... And then after that, might go to multiplayer. But, alright, that's going to do it for me. Lyrics, thank you for keeping me sane during the last 2.5, 3 hours. Appreciate it with Warhammer info. And to everybody watching, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please hit the like button, show support, because I make more videos just this one. I'm going to make this into a guide at some point on 100%er and challenges in general. So look forward to that. And remember, Sunny Stoner loves you and don't know yet. And Jesus loves you. I'm tired. I'm going to go eat and drink. And I don't mean just water this time. I deserve it. Take it easy, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you next